top tip for people every day, a performance tip that they could
say to yourself,
how they could be better.
Say to yourself in your head continuously, dreams don't work unless you do.
No, but I've never had ambition, because ambition is the most stupid thing. I'll tell you why.
How do you mean?
I've always, ambition, you will either, if you have an ambition, a goal, right, have ambition, you either achieve that goal, in which case, so what? Well, then what you're going to do?
Set another goal.
Or you don't, in which case your life is full of disappointment. So it's either going to be empty or disappointing. I've never had a single ambition in my life, ever, and I haven't got one now.
What about to be a farmer?
Yeah, what?
What about to be a farmer?
It wasn't an ambition. I was contractually obliged by contract, obviously, to make a solo television programme. And I know Amazon wanted me to go jet skiing out of helicopters on mountains. And I just thought, no, I don't want to go through Terminal 5. And I'd met him and I'd met Gerald, and I thought, I reckon there's a TV show in farming. I don't have to go anywhere. That wasn't an ambition. It was, and I'd already decided I wanted to get more involved in the farm. I just thought, well, let's do a show about that.
But
brilliant.
Where does it, if you haven't got the ambition, where's the motivation come from? It's just that you know that's the journey.
Well,
you're
I've
on
been busy.
Well, clearly, but
no, I've got 10 jobs now, because I've got the brewery, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Grand Tour, 3 newspaper columns a week, the farm show, and the other 2. I said, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Probably not. Anyway, yeah. I got 10 sort of what most people would call full-time jobs, which I enjoy.
But if you take the farm, where do you go with the farm? If you've got some, you must have some goals, some targets.
I would quite like to make it profitable by the time the government subsidies have disappeared. But it's not really an ambition. It's just, I find it editorially interesting. What it is, it's a newspaper column, ultimately. It is. That's all I ever think of in terms of it's newspaper
constantly
columns.
evolving.
I'm sitting here now, you're interviewing me, I'm thinking, is there a column in this?
I feel like you don't need to, but do you ever give Kaleb any advice on to how to handle those sort of public speaking or the fame game or any of that? Do you ever point him in the right direction on that stuff?
He's because even though he doesn't know anything, he's got quite an inquiring mind. So
yeah,
when you first start, and it's something like commercial activity, it's very tempting when you're 22, 23, and people come along and say, do you want to have this money for doing this? And I would say, you need to be very careful. For every £100 you earn commercially, you'll lose in the long term £100,000 because your career will, I'm still here, what am I, 62, so I've been 40 years, I suppose, doing it now. And I'm still here because I never took, you pay for your watch, you pay for your car, you pay for your shoes, you pay for everything. And no one can ever accuse you of taking the corporate shilling. And then I explained this, and he was a bit sort of, what? But I said, honestly, it will pay off in the end. Once you've got credibility, if you start messing around with people's heads and going, buy this amazing new seed, so it's tricky. So he is very interested, aren't you, in that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to be swayed. You get an agent, the agent's on the phone, and come and open this, and you think, that's fine, I get paid 50 quid, and you go, and then you just think, oh, God, do I want to be opening super? And you don't. You want to be farming.
I want to be farming. I spend 85% of my time out there.
You said that's the goal, right? To have your own farm.
Yeah, that is my dream.
Brilliant.
So,
you know
at the start, when Clarkson's farm come out for the first time, and I said, look, Jam, I need some advice. People have offered me a lot of money. This could potentially buy a farm. And he was like, look, give me the advice. You give me good advice, and I'm very grateful for that.
Wait.
And I was like, I could buy my farm. And then he was like, wait. So I turned everything down. And I'd still turn a lot of stuff down.
That's very brave, isn't it? It takes a lot to do that.
But you know this because you're from the television world. How many presenters have you seen take their corporate shilling and last 18 months?
Yeah.
And then they're gone. Think of all those names that were pretty much household names in, I don't know, the 80s or the 90s or the noughties. And then you just go, I remember
Well, look at reality TV stars, right?
They come along, they open a load of supermarkets, and they're gone. If they're, reality generally, This is
Although
a
that's
reality
you.
show. This is actually a reality show.
Yeah.
But you've got to just be careful and go, I've got a skill set and my skill set is farming and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I can write books about it. I can appear on television doing it. And if everything's real and honest and sensible, you'll go on and on and on and on and on. And the longevity is what pays ultimately, not a short burst of success.
When Charlie came to you and produced this sort of spreadsheet that ended up telling you that you'd made 144 quid or something for that year, it's like, what are you going to do if you're a farmer that doesn't have an Amazon deal, that doesn't have the Millionaire Programme and doesn't have a column?
No, I know.
Then what?
Well, they normally work on another job as well.
Farmers.
Yeah.
Farmers.
All farmers I know normally work on another job.
Like what other jobs?
Truck driving. You know, you can literally do your animals in the morning, go and jump on a truck, drive a lorry back and forth, get back at 5, 6, whatever, and then do your animals again, then go to bed.
But
it's bringing another wage in.
That's such a grueling gig,
It's
isn't
honestly,
it?
it's very difficult.
Every farmer out there's got 3 or 4 jobs probably.
But like you say, when these subsidies stop, then what's going to happen? Because what sort of percentage of revenue are those?
Well, they were 2 years ago. There's 1,000 acres here, so you got a basic payment of just for having the land of 80-something thousand a year. I know that sounds, I've got 80,000, what are you moaning about? You know,
Take your expenses out, you know,
by the time if you buy a tractor, a tractor's £100,000. Just a bit of that cow crush we bought, which is just literally a metal fence, £10,000. So it sounds like a huge amount, but actually the farm will just eat it in seconds.
Yeah.
With every time you have to buy anything, it's your £80,000 is gone. I mean, that wasn't to blow smoke up his bottom. It is nice that you get Kaleb, who's what, 24 now?
24, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming along and is going to fight. And I actually think he probably will be able to work out how to make it pay. But sitting where I'm sitting, there's not a cat in hell's chance. I mean, do you know how much that cow enterprise cost to set up? Building the barn, buying the cows,
150?
buying the crash.
180.
240,000.
Wow.
That's a long time to pay that back.
So if you want to build a barn, buy, how many cows do we buy? 19 cows, breed them, vets bills, food, bedding, giving them a house, buying the equipment you need, fencing, it's £250,000.
That's when a farmer doesn't take a wage though.
Yeah.
He cannot take a wage on that.
And then
when I'm working for myself,
you're going to get TB.
When I'm feeding my calves in the morning, so I bought 8 calves. I'm buying, it's like a little bit of a new business idea that I'm doing, buying calves in and then, feeding them on milk, which cost me about £200 a calf, and then selling them at 9 months for trying to get a profit, trying to see if it would work, Anyway, but I worked it out the other day. Do you know how much my hourly rate is? Well, I pay myself for doing them calves.
What is it?
50p an hour.
Oh.
Then I can make money. But if I put myself at £10 an hour, I don't make money. I lose money on the calves.
You've got a really entrepreneurial streak, haven't you, though?
Yeah, yeah. It's weird, actually. When I was in school, I could sit, I didn't like school, but I'd go and sit in maths and they were going, right, what's 10 times 10? I'd be like this. But get me out there and go, right, okay, you've got
8 cows.
8 cows. And, well, say
No, but you're right. Which is absolutely right.
8 cows plus, whatever. How many is it? Straight away, bang.
Yeah.
Or work out if you've got 30 eggs to sell, this week. Yeah. How much money are you going to get? Well, you work it out 25p, put them into sixes. How many sixes? I could just do that. I could do the maths and do the money. But when it comes to sitting in a classroom and adding up and...
Because you're practical and you're interested in it.
Well, I'm interested in making money.
But with the farm, is it what we see? Is it this gang of people? Or how many more people are there behind the scenes making this thing happen?
You see everyone, don't you?
There's no one else. I mean, truth be told, you wouldn't need it. There's him. I mean, you could do this farm.
Yeah, I could do it on my own. Yeah,
you could do it easily on his own. And I'm just trying to learn because I want to know.
What they say in terms of the farming world, there's 600 acres is one man's work. So that is everything from cultivation, drilling, spraying, combining. I mean, in the summer months, you would get someone else in just to sit on another tractor for you and help you out. But 600 acres is one man.
And what do we farm here? 540 now?
Yeah. So, a bit more than that, isn't it? It's 560, isn't it?
Whatever, it's that sort of
Anyway, and then the other half of the farm is grass. So technically there's management there as well. So, in terms, I could probably do the whole thing on my own. But then you've gone into your...
Well, I want to learn, which is what the programme was about.
Also, how lonely would it be if it was just one
incredibly.
person?
This is what we say all the time.
You know how many farmers are literally on their own. I mean, absolutely on their own right now. And they're on a tractor going up and down, and all they're thinking is, I'm going to have zero money. You know, and they've got to put food
They've got
on
a
the table.
family at
And they've got
home.
a family at home, and they have no money. So while the suicide rate now among farmers is just, there's a greater number of accidents than all other jobs put together on farms. And the suicide rate now has overtaken vets, I believe. It's
lonely.
because it's lonely and they aren't being paid. I mean, imagine if you were, nobody would go to work if they knew they weren't going to get any money.
I mean, my end goal here is to buy my own farm, you know, and then that is where the dream is. The day I wake up on my own farm, walk out the front door and go, that field there, I'm going to plant wheat. Not because anyone tells me to, because simply I want to. And then I can go, right, in that barn there this year, we're going to go and get some pigs or get some, you know, and I'm going to try and make money out of that. Or go, you know, that is when the dream is complete.
You haven't got this guy getting in the way.
Well, he can be around, but he's just not allowed on my farm.